to another quilting video. I'm Olivia and today I'm showing how I buy quilt fabric online and how I make sure that it's going to match or the colours look like I think they will. I've got a few different tricks for when I'm starting from scratch shopping for a brand new quilt, and a few for when I have some fabrics already on hand that I want to add to. So I hope this video will be helpful to you no matter what your starting point is. If it is helpful, please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more quilting videos because that really helps me out and I really appreciate it. This week I've been planning a new bed quilt and trying to find fabrics only online, it has been a little bit tough. Normally I like to buy one fabric or two or a couple of fabrics, and then I go into a shop to finish my fabric selection because it's just so much easier to combine fabrics in person. Right now, that's not an option. So today I just wanted to sit down and share my top tips and strategies for buying quilting fabric online. First up, have a rough idea of what you need before you start looking. Fabric shops online have so many options. In a shop, you're limited by physical space, but that's less of an issue online. So before you even open your computer, make sure you have a rough idea of what you're looking for. Narrow your scope before you start, otherwise it's going to be way too overwhelming. Even just knowing that you're looking for sage green fabric, or a large scale floral, or only low volumes, whatever it is. Just beginning with some structure will really help not get overwhelmed and it will help you search efficiently. If you're starting from scratch, this one won't help, but if you already have some fabric on hand, look through there first. If you have fabrics you want to match, begin by looking at the collection or the designer or the manufacturer that it came from for complementary fabrics. It's not like fabric designers and manufacturers always stick to a closed colour scheme, but you'll notice they often use similar tones and their fabrics will often have a similar feel. Ruby Star Society is a good example of that, right? Within this company, it's fairly easy to combine different designers and different fabric lines and still end up with a really cohesive set of fabrics. If you don't want to match that closely by sticking to one company, taking a look at what you've got can still help. Look for things like the background colour. If your starting fabrics are all white based, then maybe you don't want to add a cream based fabric because that will really stand out. So when you're looking online and you see a pattern you like but it's got a cream background, it's an easy way to eliminate it. Stuff like this is obvious to see in person, but online sometimes it can be easy to downplay in your mind how different bases can really mess with a fabric mix. Here's an example of a fabric bundle where I bought this one online and the background of this one is much more yellow than these. In person, that's obvious. Buying it online, I convinced myself this was much more similar. So now I've got more work to do to make this fit in with these. Other examples would be if you can see all the fabrics you're trying to match have a little bit of black in them, or they're all really large scale patterns, or they're all really flowy, organic patterns. This is good information to have. You might be like, okay, I want to continue this theme and double down on that idea. Or you might be like, whoa, I should add some contrasting colors or styles and add some geometric prints to balance out those organic patterns. This way you're not starting blind. If you're using a dedicated quilting shop, this is less of an issue, but it's still something to be aware of. Most quilting fabric is 100% cotton and it's got a fairly close weave. But you can also use linen or linen blends, other woven fabrics. But you need to know what you want so you can either only look for those other options or eliminate them from your search altogether. Good online shops will give you the option to filter out fabric types, so you're only looking through what you want. You don't want to find the perfect pattern and then later realize that it's a rayon or a silk or something else that won't work for your quilt. So know this up front. The easiest way, in my opinion, to buy fabric online is to stick to a single collection. Most quilting shops will give you the option of buying a set bundle of all or most of the fabrics in a collection, or you can DIY it and choose the fabrics you love the most. If you're doing a set bundle, make sure you check how much fabric you get. There are fat quarter bundles or a standard quarter yard bundle, or full meter yard bundle, whatever it is, just make sure it's enough for what you need. When you're shopping online, use a shop with good filters. I like to use Hawthorne Supply Co. a lot. Their fabrics are really well categorized. So if you're looking for a particular theme, you can start here. If you're looking for a particular color, you can start here. If you're looking for a particular manufacturer or designer, whatever it is, it's really easy to find here. They also have this awesome feature that I love, these colored circles underneath a fabric. So if you click on here, it's going to bring up every other fabric they've got that's a color match. You can go here and set how close a match it is. You can go here and set how much of that color you want to be included in the fabric. Doing this makes it really easy to match colors. This is a really good option if you're confident mixing fabrics on your own, and it gives you some guidance that the colors at least will go together. If you're not super confident, there is another option. A lot of smaller shops now create their own fabric bundles with a mix of designers and companies. Cotoneer is a good one I like, and Lamb and Loom Fabrics is another one. I haven't bought from them, but I've seen pictures of their bundles that I really like. These are so great because you don't get that matchy look of sticking to a single collection, but somebody else with experience and practice and skill has gone through and put the fabrics together, and you can be confident that the colours will flow nicely and your quilt will be cohesive and well balanced. So you can see here Cotoneer has all these bundles they've put together and they're all ready to go. So if you want, you can just go to a shop like this and skip the rest of this video. If you would rather create your own bundle from scratch, which is what I generally prefer to do, then I like to start big. I know in the beginning I said narrow down, begin with structure, and yes, that's important, but within the parameters you've set, don't write anything off too soon. Online, I'll scroll through the options and open any fabric that could possibly work in a new tab. As I go and as I add more fabrics, it becomes easier to see, okay, this one won't work because it's the only one with a certain color, or hey, these three all flow really well, so I should lean in this direction with these fabrics, and I like these other ones, but they don't really add anything to the whole, you know? Over time, I get pretty ruthless with closing out tabs and sticking to the palette that's emerging, but in the beginning, it's helpful to pick out a lot of options, and generally patterns start emerging or the outliers reveal themselves, and I can home in on a fabric mix that really works. When you're buying fabric in a shop, the beauty of it is you can move the bolts around, you know, put these two together and see how it looks, or kind of audition how one fabric goes with different options and then choose the best one. Online, this is trickier. One thing I'll do when I'm narrowing down my fabrics is pull out the browser tabs, zoom in a bit on the fabric. Then you can move them around like this and get a better sense of how the scale and the color and everything works together. This is particularly helpful when I'm deliberating between two fabrics. I can kind of go like this and audition fabric mixes and choose which way I want to go. If you found a fabric you like the look of, but you're not quite sure of the colour or the scale, search for it on Instagram. I would suggest searching for the collection name. Then you can see a whole bunch of photos from different people, different cameras, different lighting, and that will help you be able to figure out a consensus on accurate colours and how big the pattern is. Consider buying a swatch card. I think most, if not all, companies who sell solid fabrics have one of these. So if you consistently buy solid fabrics and you consistently buy from one company, then this is a great way to set yourself up for success when you're buying online in the future. Just this week, as I've been trying to buy fabric for my new bed quilt, I ordered this Art Gallery Fabrics color swatch card. They're my favourite solids, so I've gone with them as opposed to a different set. So next time I'm mixing fabrics, I can open this up, or I'm actually planning on cutting it up and putting each one on magnets to make it easier to mix the fabrics, so I'll share that in a video when I do it. But this way I can pick the exact colours I want without having to be in a shop. So say I have a starting point here and I like this colour, I can choose that knowing exactly the shade and what it looks like, and then go back to my computer and find other fabrics that work with that colour. Then I can go through all the other strategies I've mentioned already with a lot more confidence. As always, when you're picking out fabrics for a quilt, remember to include your supporting fabrics. These are your solids, your low volumes, your plainer, more boring fabrics that are so important to your finished quilt. You always want to make sure that your main feature fabrics have room to shine and aren't overpowering when combined together in your quilt top. When you're in a shop, it's clearer when you need to add some of those quieter supporting fabrics, but it's so easy to forget about them online. Then when the package arrives, you've got all these beautiful fabrics that don't combine as well as you'd imagined, and you don't really know why. So this goes back to that first step of knowing what you're looking for in the beginning. Before you finish your order, check through to make sure you've got a good mix of large prints, small prints, blenders, all those plainer fabrics that are necessary to show your favorite, more exciting fabrics in their best light. So there you have it. Hope this video was helpful. Please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel, and good luck picking out your next set of fabrics, whether that's online or in person in a shop. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.